Hi, anyone and everyone. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. I'm going to do the Tarot Collective for today. Today is Thursday, September 11th, 2025. You may follow me on the Talk, the Tube, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Take what resonates. Leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, God's kiss. We love that for you. Whatever doesn't, leave it on the table for someone else. We don't want you taking on energy that wasn't meant for you. We're using Intuitive City Oracle by Rob Barthelman. You can find this at intuitiveintention.com. My Intuitive Intention on Etsy. He also sells his decks in the TikTok shop. I want to apologize for this morning. I forgot to put on the mic when I was doing affirmations, so I hope that they were heard. I also want to just say, because I didn't say it this morning, as always, on this anniversary of September 11th, my heart goes out to everyone that passed and all their families and friends that are still with us. I did not know anybody that died in the Twin Towers. However, my grandparents did. And now they're both gone. So, not that it matters. That day was a great loss. In more ways than one. Whoa, one on the table. I hope everybody's doing good. Besides that, I hope everybody's ready for the weekend. I am ready for the weekend. I got plans this weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend. I can feel it in my bones. We got 2 on the table. 3 on the table. Okay, for a minute there, I was looking back at the first one that fell out, and I'm like, that's a major, right? No, it's not. No. Okay, that one is. 4 on the table, 1 major. What you doing with yourself? What you doing with yourself? 5 on the table, 1 major. Let's do 2 more shuffles. Last shuffle, last shuffle, last shuffle. This is interesting. We only got 6 cards here. Ooh. Bottom of the deck, 3 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, 4 of Swords. I actually like 4 of Swords. High Priest. Top of the deck, the Hangman, 7 of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. Ooh. It's pretty much all good stuff, top and bottom. I like that. All right, we got 6 cards. We've got 7 of Cups, 9 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles. Okay, I'm going to say something in a minute. Hold on. We got the Chariot. It's the only major on the table. We've got 10 of Cups. And then bottom of the deck, we've got King of Pentacles. Feminine, masculine, take what resonates. It doesn't matter. It's energy, right? I'm a fembot and a maskbot. A massbot? What did I say? Massbot? Like Okay, never mind. I don't know why, but when I was reading the cards off to you, just after the 8 of Pentacles, before the Chariot, I was picturing Kevin Kline and Jamie Lee Curtis in the movie A Fish Called Wanda. If you've ever seen it, it is a fabulous movie. It's got I can never remember his name. It's got John Cleese, but it's also got the other guy. They were both in Monty Python. I can't remember the other guy's name. But in A Fish Called Wanda, he's like mute. He doesn't talk. I think self-imposed, if I remember correctly. But A Fish Called Wanda is really good. Kevin Kline and Jamie Lee Curtis are together, but they rob and steal. And Jamie Lee Curtis falls in love with John Cleese. John Cleese is a judge in England. I know there's a different word for judge, but there you go. Very good movie. I love it. I think it's a great movie. I think it came out in the 80s, maybe like 87, 89, something like that. I don't think it was 90s. They all also did another movie together, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years later, 10 years later, something creatures. I can't remember, where they like ran a zoo or something. That one was funny. It wasn't as good as A Fish Called Wanda, but it was okay. Anyway, for some reason I was thinking of that. If you watch the movie, it's yeah, it's hilarious. So I'm just going to be honest, like somebody has been working really hard at some type of manifestation, something that they really want. This 10 of Cups situation. Take how that resonates for you. Rob Barthelman put on the card family union. What do you consider a family? Because me, like, I consider me and my 4 cats a family. What do you consider a family? When I look at 10 of Cups, I also just think of my own energy. I don't necessarily think of like my spouse or my boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. What do I bring to the 10 of Cups? I bring my own 10 of Cups. You bring a 10 of Cups. You know what I mean? Like, and I believe that. That's what I believe. Because I believe, like if I get into a relationship with another person, I bring 100, they bring 100. That's just how I look at it. I don't do 50-50. What is 50-50? I feel like that's BS. Because when you say I'm going to do 50-50 and they say they're going to do 50-50, one of you always ends up doing more. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like you can't work through those types of things in relationships. You can't, change that on a sliding scale every day with your spouse, your significant other. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that some people get get into situations where they give a hell of a lot more than the other person. And me going into a situation, like if I'm going to give 100, you better give 100. I'm not looking for anything less, And when I don't see that, I walk. And I'm not just talking like relationships, like lovers relationships. I'm talking about friendships too. If I'm the one that's always putting in the work, if I'm the one that's always contacting you, if I'm the one that's always trying to figure out stuff for us to do when we hang out, if I'm the one that's always picking a restaurant, if I'm the one that's always picking the book to read for book club, you know what I mean? Like, you want to give and take. You want a friend that's going to put in as much energy into a friendship as you are. You want equality. To me, equality is 100-100. The 50-50 thing, that's not, just my opinion. Just my opinion. Somebody, like I said, somebody's manifesting for this. Somebody's working really hard towards this with the 8 of Pentacles. Because to me, with the Chariot, like, this is coming in for somebody. With the King of Pentacles, like, this is going to be very stable for this person. This is something they can rely on. This is dependable. To me, this could also be what leads up to the 10 of Cups, right? What leads up to union? What leads up to, that family, that quote unquote family dynamic. If you're somebody, and I'm just throwing out like an example, but if you just graduated from college and you're looking for a job and you get a pretty decent job out of college, let's say earning 75 grand a year to start, and you can support yourself on that fairly well, okay? You're not the richest person on the planet, obviously, but you can pay your bills and have money to spare, for fun stuff like going to the movies, grabbing a drink at the bar, whatever the case. Maybe even dating, right? You decide like you're going to invest in another person, you want to date, you want to move towards this 10 of cups situation with another person, have a family, that kind of thing. Maybe by the time you get yourself into that position and you're engaged and you're getting ready to get married, now you earn $100,000 a year. You get married, you're getting ready to have your first baby, now you're earning $125,000 a year. To me, it's just a constant upcycle. Like somebody is just constantly moving forward, moving up. And if you're going to get yourself into a position where you're going to get into, again, if this is like a relationship type, a lovers type situation, you're going to want to be able to move up, increase your net worth, that kind of thing. And so should the other person. But it's very much about investing in oneself so that you can invest in a whole. Like, yeah, okay, not a whole, but a whole, okay? Don't. No naughty thoughts. Yeah, I know, I'm the one with the naughty thoughts. And I'm not saying, I don't want to not say this. I don't want to not recognize the people out there that are in family situations, 10 of cups situations, where they're in a perfectly loving dynamic with a spouse, kids, whatever, and maybe they don't make a lot, but they make it work, right? Because sometimes you find a way to get around it. And I think I'm just going to say this too. Like I said, not just this person, but the other person that they come into union with. Because let's just face it, it is very rare today for, in a couple dynamic, doesn't matter the sex, for only one of them to work and the other one to be able to stay at home. It's very rare nowadays. Like that one person that works must make a lot of money because, I mean, my least that I would make in a year if I do like almost no overtime, probably about 40,000. Last year, I did overtime and I did almost 60. And the year before that, I did a ton of overtime and I did almost 65, 68, something like that. So for me, that's fairly well in my area where I live, what I pay for groceries, mortgage, all that jazz. That's fairly well for me. I think right now, I don't know, like I'm around 50, something like that. I did not put in as much overtime this year as I did the years past. I spent a lot of the first year putzing around and doing my own thing, finishing my book and all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, no regrets. I don't regret that, but even making $20,000 less than usual or around there, I made it work because my budget for survival was based on no overtime. When I first got divorced and bought my condo and all that, it was based on no overtime. So me having overtime, that's just that much more extra. So if I need to buy something, if I want to pay for, better food, better meals, more stuff for the cats, stuff like that. That's why I always say that I'm pretty lucky that I have the opportunity to do the overtime if I want to do the overtime, because it only helps me out in the long run. And I think when we look at these Ten of Cups situation, these family dynamics, I think it's really wise to get into relationships with other people that for sure can hold their own, especially in this day and age. I'm just saying. Masculine, feminine, it doesn't matter. I felt like I needed to go off on a tangent, I guess. Yeah, I think this really is just looking at somebody working on themselves to get them to that point to where if they want a family, whatever that means for them, that they could do that. Because that's what it looks like to me. Like preparing for the future, you know? Okay, why am I channeling like 80s movies? Okay, I don't know if I've ever said this. The second Ghostbusters movie where Dana works in the museum and the painting comes to life with the guy. I cannot remember what his real name is or the character's name is. But for some reason I'm looking at this masculine figure on this card and I'm picturing that guy in the painting. I know he doesn't look exactly like him, but I don't for some reason I was thinking about that. Oh my gosh. I don't know. If you've never seen Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, like you seriously got to go see it. The one with the two kids, okay, they're supposed to be Dan Aykroyd's grandkids. That one wasn't bad. The one that had Melissa McCarthy and all the ladies in it, you would think that I would have loved that, but I did not. I'm just going to be honest. And I think now they don't even market it as a Ghostbusters movie. I can't remember, but it was not that great. I love all the actresses, but it was not that great. I don't know what messages you could find in either of those movies, but maybe. Ghostbusters 2 and A Fish Called Wanda. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope it resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, if anything, you were entertained. And I will talk to you all later.